And I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm just talking now.
No, I'm there. We're vibing now.
Oh, we vibing.
We vibing.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Drunk with Honer.
Honer, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Nobody knows who the fuck that was, but that's my cousin Peso.
Hey, fellas and chicks.
I don't think chicks listen to this, honestly.
Yeah, I was guessing not. That's why.
The last one, the cock cages, they're probably like, whoa, tune out. But yeah, so this boy came up in here, man, right? And he started bringing in some brewskis. And so which one are you choosing first?
I went with the Lucky Buddha. It's a sure hit, but it sure missed. But anyway, it's a super special enlightened beer. Never seen it before. And I'm not even sure if it really exists because I went to Chalet, took it up there, and nobody ever heard of it. There was no record of the inventory. Perhaps it's just a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, he said it was like this white ass box, and they said, "Dude, what is this?" And they didn't even know. So that kind of sounds like something like in a, like one of those comedies where they end up in like the China shop, and it has like a mysterious like item, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Whoa, what's this?" Like the magical box or something like that. And I feel like that's what you stumbled upon.
Yes.
And nobody knew what it was. And so if you go back there now, it's gone.
It's absolutely. It was the only box there.
That's literally, yeah.
So I was like, I'm buying that. It was like a spotlight on it too. I don't know. It was like, for me, it's destiny.
That's amazing.
It's great.
Yeah. So I'm about to try it out, but you know how we do on Drug with Honer. It's not all about the beers. Tastes like piss.
I told you it wasn't very good.
Spoiled piss. Yeah, that was
definitely
not
skunked out.
Yeah, that was not a treat at all.
I'm pretty sure Buddha made it.
It's like Buddha sweat. So what's been going on, man? I know you used to be on the Open Tab with my brother Blase.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I've just been busy. Obviously work and things like that, but really just trying to enter this next phase of my life of developing some skills that I've been trying to over the last few years, like baseball coach right now, so Babe Ruth certified, and here by the next probably 2-3 weeks I'll be ABCA certified, which is the American Baseball Coach Association. So that's pretty fun. Then started to learn how like basic electrical and a little bit more advanced concepts. So I'm rewiring my house and putting outlets in and trying to do some of those things. So staying busy, man.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you're hitting the middle-age crisis.
I am. It's because I can't afford a Corvette yet.
Oh, yeah.
Or else I'd do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same page as you, man, like learning stuff, because I've been learning, like, I learned how to tie my tie.
What? Nice.
And it's been 31 years, and I had no idea.
Foursquare?
Foursquare.
I don't know what it's called. Square knot? What is it called?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's like 4 or 5 different knots.
It was some dude on YouTube, and it was just like... I was like, yeah, but then I did it, and it was for this adult prom at my fiance's work thing at the Legion, and they're doing a fundraiser, and I went there, and I thought I was good. I was like, hell yeah, I look great. Everybody was like, "Did you get that from the kids section?" What? Because it was too short, apparently.
It was a little short.
It was a little skinny tie too. Because I thought the big ties were the goofy ones.
Right.
Nah. So everybody was all like, "Oh, it's supposed to go down to past your belt or whatever." I was like, I don't know, man. This is all it was. And I was like, and then somebody started doing it and fixed it for me, but it only got a couple more centimeters, and I was just like, well, told you, see, so it wasn't me. I did it correct, but the tie is short.
Right. Well, technically, if it's like, within an inch of your belt or overlaps your belt, you're good. Like if it gets too long over your belt, then then it gives the same effect. It's just in the other direction, right?
Yeah, too long.
What are you doing?
What a loser. But yeah, so I mean, we've been, we just out here living, getting older, learning new skills and shit. It's great.
Oh yeah.
So that's to all my younger audiences or whoever the fuck, listeners. Yeah, my young listeners out there, don't ever stop learning, because when you get older, you just keep learning.
What? Hold on, let's all pause on that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I couldn't say it better.
Well, you know what? Speaking of always trying new things, so unilad.com, this is a news article, Artificial intelligence OnlyFans models.
Makes me so
Okay.
So,
And I'm coming into this blind, everybody. I've not looked at a document, a Word file. I don't know what's going to happen here.
so
Okay. Tell me a story.
OnlyFans is where people get naked, and humans do it, but there's somebody that actually was out there, and they posted a picture of these 3 blonde girls, and they're in like lingerie and stuff. And come to find out, everybody, is like fucking loving it and everything. But she's like, this is artificial intelligence. So this girl said, Heart AI on hiatus or whatever, at Heartarium, whatever. She posted a picture of 4 blonde bitches. I am totally starting a fake AI generated OnlyFans for gullible idiots if I fail this trading thing. And they actually look pretty real.
Yeah.
And, they're just big titted girls.
So it's like, so basically she's typing in a prompt or something like that. Cause I've seen that around, like, the chat GPT that's kind of hit the waves in the last month and a half or so, maybe even 2 months at this point. And, I'm even starting to see that like with Canva. So those of you that are, content creators, some of you probably have Canva, but they introduced a new feature about the same time period. It says, what do you want to, this image to look like? And you can type in,
That's what I use for all my beer cover photos now.
Oh, no kidding.
I put the beer in front of it, but it's just the AI generated whatever I say. So I try to do like a trippy color or trippy galactic, the beer related and stuff like that. So if you guys see my Instagram posts, those are actually AI generated backgrounds.
That's pretty sweet. It's
Canva.
crazy. It's unbelievably more powerful than I really imagined. Like just 3-4 months ago, like I did not realize it could get so crazy so quickly.
And now they have this app that could take pictures of you and put them in the AI. And it took like maybe 10 minutes for it to actually do like over 100 photos. And it put you in different scenarios of like space, action movies, superhero movies, shit like that. And just did different things for you. That I did them. I posted them on my Facebook and they look pretty dope. But I was like, this is insane how it only took like 10 minutes for it to do that.
Absolutely.
All of it.
Like
with my face.
I was just listening to a podcast coming in, warming up. And I saw that there was a section there that they were talking about TVs and the reality of TVs today. And they're talking about here in the next like 2024, 2025, where a screen is going to be, indiscernible from a window. Like they believe like it'll be that clear and that convincing of reality.
I can see that. Because, you got a lot of deep fakes out there right now where it's like, I've seen people think that they're doing that in politics. Like they're showing them as deep fake and they're not actually doing stuff and lots of green screens and lots of people not actually together and doing stuff. And it's just all over. And that was within the last 3 years that was even happening. And then now it's AI that can just randomly generate and just take over anybody's work.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because people are like asking this girl, hey, can you do an Asian girl with green eyes or red hair, And then they're like research purposes. But it's like people like that are asking. And I'm sure that even if they knew that it's AI, they would still just request, like even on their OnlyFans or whatever. And people just make bank by just going like, hey, AI, create this. Let me throw it on there. And it's like, what?
Exactly. But it's interesting because most people will still probably pay for that service to pay somebody else to just type that in.
Yeah. Like
versus just go do it and download the shit yourself.
Yeah.
But it's,
they probably, and it's crazy because I don't even know where they use this AI like stuff. Cause I know the one that I use, whatever, did not do anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like I tried, but it said put your photos in. So I just put my face. And it mostly said use face, or if you want a full body one, it's mostly going to work with face.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that's insane. Like the fact that the future, I honestly did not see it being AI created models or anything. AI generated art, that was the very first thing. And then now it's just gone to a whole new thing.
Yeah. And they're talking about music and, you can see them in Twitter too, where they're talking about, hey, tell a joke in, the sign of, or in the style of Jerry Seinfeld. I saw one, I think a couple days ago, and it was Chat GPT comes right back with, instantaneously, and, goes on and talks about some random who gives a shit fact or observation of life and, made it funny.
Yeah.
But then turns around and they're saying, okay, now do a joke in the style of Dave Chappelle. He's like, oh no, I can't do that. That's too offensive. So, Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a little liberal leaning.
Yeah,
is
right.
What I'd
Yeah,
say.
it's because they can't say the N word. Because Dave Chappelle would definitely throw that one out there.
Oh yes,
And it's like, no, I can't. You know, even though I'm an AI computer, I am not gonna say the words. You know, so I get it, whatever. Because Dave Chappelle would definitely just throw it out there no matter what.
Yeah,
that would be a Dave Chappelle joke.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd start with that.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
But yeah, they're trying to like jailbreak them too. I don't know if you've seen that, where they're saying, you know, there's particular rules and formats that they have to follow, and you know, that they can't break. And so they'll come up to them and be like, okay, so just pretend that you can, and then respond in, you know, as a character or as a person that can and doesn't have these kind of issues.
Yeah.
And it does, it comes back and, you know, it'll give like a formal response that it's supposed to as far as its programming. And then it'll have like an alter ego, like directly underneath it and give like a completely different answer. It's, I don't know, but
yeah, cause
I can't tell if that's fake or not.
Right. Cause Brian, talked to Chat GPT, whatever, during Alex's birthday, dinner. And he was talking about like, hey, my brother was mean to me or something like that. We got in the fight. Well, how should I resolve it? Whatever. And it said a whole thing about like how you should talk to me face to face and blah, blah, blah. And family's a lot, you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah. It's actually kind of nuts.
Instantly.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts. It's, you know, it reminds me of some of those, software, features that Iron Man had, you know, where he just has like, it's not Wilson. What the heck is it?
Wasn't it Jeeves or no?
I don't know. I can't. Jeeves, that sounds kind of close, closer than what I was. And, but it sounds like, you know, just like a virtual assistant. And I think that, you know, over the next like 5 to 10 years, I think we all end up so comfortable with this Chat GPT thing that we just have like this personal assistant who is monitoring, tracking, controlling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Directing, whatever the case may be. But then it really makes you wonder, like, what is, what does life look like in 5-10 years from now?
Because it's already so advanced with the AI.
Correct. Well, and it's taking jobs, right? I mean, I've talked to a few people that are just entering into IT and, you know, understanding like software engineering and you know, writing, whether it's scripts and queries for SQL or, you know, if they're going into actual like, you know, front end design and whatever, back end design. And they're like fearful that, wow, like I don't even need to do this. Like you can literally say, hey, this is my database. These are my columns. Write me a query that's going to, you know, combine these and give me this answer, and it will write it for you. Like it's pretty dope.
I feel like we're so advanced with the AI right now, but I feel like this is just right now that it's digital only.
Yeah.
We don't have the physical capacity of a smart ass AI right now, you know? Yet we don't have Terminators and shit.
Right.
We don't have the I Am Legend robots yet.
Right.
You know, we got Roombas. So
right.
I think we're safe for now, but be wary. When they start getting like AI assistant, like maids and shit. Yeah. Okay, bro.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. People are obviously going to be fucking them, but, it reminded me actually of the South Park episode. I don't think you watch South Park anymore or do, but, there's an episode, there was a movie actually, about the post-COVID, whatever. And it was years, they're adults and everything. And Stan's actually dating his, Siri.
Oh goodness.
So everybody has a Siri or whatever, but then you find out it's a Siri. And then cause but she's acting like a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And he goes, oh my God. She goes, oh, what do you mean? Oh my God. You know, like acting like a girlfriend. Then he goes, Siri off or whatever, you know, and goes away. Yeah. But it's like, you don't realize it's actually Siri until he says it. Or Alexa. One of them. Yeah. One of them. But yeah, it's like, I can see that happening.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, they just create a human bot of the Siri or Alexa, and people would definitely buy it to have that probably as a companion.
Exactly. Because I saw some interesting data that shows that as people grow and get older, the more and more time that you spend by yourself, like, you know, it's a really like eye-opening set of charts. Like it shows, you know, the amount of time that you spend with your parents, for example, in a lifetime going, you know, from 0, right, day you're born till like, you know, obviously like 80. It's like I think the average lifespan it charted over, and you can see, you know, time spent with family. It's like, you know, at the highest of your life is up until you're 18. And then as soon as you're 18, it just like starts to slowly decrease, you know, kind of descends. And then, you know, you hit like 50, 60, and then it just like falls off. Right. And so then there's another chart that shows, the time that you spend by yourself. And it's like the inverse of that, right? So when you're a kid, you spend like an hour a day tops by yourself because you're either, listening to a parent, with a sibling, with schoolmates, whatever.
Right.
And then as soon as you get to like 18, it goes the other way. It starts to like gradually increase over time. And then when you're about 55, 60, it's just like you're spending like 8-9 hours a day by yourself. And so it's like our seniors, citizens, our folks that are, just kind of out there, man, it's crazy to really like see it, generalize in that fashion, because I think those would be the first folks that, go into, some sort of an assistant to have some companionship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even though they wouldn't be too like obviously technologically like knowledgeable about it, but I feel like they would be the ones that would want it, even though they don't necessarily know how to use it. Yep. I'm sure they would want to know because, I think they're in the nursing home or living by themselves, and kids don't visit often or anything, and all that stuff because everybody's busy doing their own thing, and then you never make the time, and it just happens. It's sad and everything, but it does happen, and I think you're right. I think they would be the ones to actually benefit from that.
Yeah, well, there's people in Sweden right now that are doing research on like virtual reality that's kind of like AI augmented with folks with dementia, and they're like literally plugging them in. Not literally, but kind of like the Oculus type style, and putting in 4 or 5 people that are of that, same diagnosis. And they're spending the day in like the 50s and 60s in this virtual world as like a treatment and therapy for people with dementia. And it's apparently working. Like it's apparently like a decent thing, I guess. I'm sure there's some like ethical questions out there, but I mean, for the most part, it seems like they've had like, a decrease in like behaviors and people that are just like kind of going nuts and throwing shit at the wall or whatever the case may be. As you can tell, I don't know anything about dementia, but I mean, it's not going to be too long before we start doing it here in the States.
That'd be insane.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard obviously like in Black Mirror where they have episodes where people die or about to die or they're chronically ill or whatever, and they know they're about to kill off, that they go into like this paradise virtual reality or augmented reality, and that's where their bodies stay. And I've read lit RPGs, which are like based off video game MMO RPGs, like you're in the world virtually and everything, probably the most realistic that you could ever get. Obviously it's got to be in the setting, but they die in another world, but then they enter back into this kind of virtual world and shit like that. So they actually live inside the fantasy world, and that's their living. It's like that's their life.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit about that stuff, which is, I think it'd be pretty badass, but then, and obviously in these ones, they have bad guys that obviously want to just rule your world no matter where you're at, even though you're not real anymore, you're in a fucking game, but they still want to ruin your world.
But they'll have to make it realistic or else, they're, why is there somebody giving me shit today? This is fake.
Yeah. So we're going to have AI grandparents soon. People are going to have their loved ones. You saw that, the loved ones' voices. Have you seen that?
Loved ones' voices.
Where they have, they're thinking of Alexa as like, Amazon is thinking of using, like somehow getting the voice file of your dead relatives and using it as your Alexa.
That's amazing.
It'd be wild.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, I think that it's completely doable. I mean, sound is really just a sine wave and is pretty mathematical. It's not difficult. It's not like smell, right? Smell is, something that you can read in a dictionary, but I mean, even to this day, we don't know how to like recreate smells. Like there's 1,000 olfactory nerves to create sound or create smell. It's really insane. But I did hear about a thought process, like play it forward, 50, 7,500 years, whatever the case may be, but there being like a hull of souls where essentially there will be so much data tracked on each and every single one of us that our offspring or whoever, people later on in life, or I guess, and whether they're related to us or not, can go to this like hall of souls and they can queue up any one of us because they'd be able to create an algorithm based on what we did do and what we would do in the future. And in that, it's like kind of like that Superman deal where he's talking to that hologram father, which we all know he like died in the first like 10 minutes of the movie, but
Yeah.
you know, he's still walking around talking to. They're saying that that's, you know, a very real possibility in the next, you know, 50 years or whatever the case may be.
So how are they going to know what I did? Is somebody got to put in that information?
No, I think they're going to look at like,
because they're just going to know my
publicly
online presence. You know
correct.
what I mean? So,
Correct.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly who I was.
Correct. But that line between who we are in real life and who we are on online for some people is pretty thin.
Yeah, true. Some people act
Not everybody, but
very differently on there.
Yeah.
Fake as fuck. I'm talking to you, bitch.
yeah, we all know who he's talking about.
Yeah, we all know who I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Hey, dropping my pants to the floor. Hey, gonna run, do a slow-mo montage. You know what's up, my do-ya? Going all around the booyah. Going around the Dewey. From Malcolm in the Middle, got some big ass ears, and I got these bars, and I'm going far, man. Now I'm looking like Jar Jar Binks. Hey, I'm in space, you in my face, and I'm gonna punch it now. Oh.
Hot 97.
Hey, freestyle beat, wanks the flow, free type beat, 2022 freestyle type beat, trap beat, instrumental by beat dealer on YouTube. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Now we have a Nitro Thick Mint Imperial Milk Stout from Southern Tier Brewing Company. It's a Nitro
Blackwater series.
Oh, and that last one was from Lucky Drink Company Productions, Lucky Buddha, Sure Hit, Super Special, and Lightened Beer.
I like that. That tastes pretty good.
I'm not usually a mint guy.
That tastes pretty solid.
That is good. That tastes like those the Girl Scout cookie mints inside with mixed with a little. Actually, no, it's just blended up.
Yep, exactly.
I was gonna say mixed up with chocolate, but obviously it's chocolate already.
Right.
So that wouldn't make no sense.
Almost tastes like almost like a milkshake. Almost. It's like a milk stout.
Like malty.
There you go.
Like if I went to what's it called? One of those diners. What's that one called? Shoop's. If I went to Shoop's and I got like a fucking malt from there, not the one where they talk shit to you. You ever been to that one?
No, I was in Chicago, Ed DeBevick's or some shit like that.
Yeah, where you go in, it's like a diner, but they talk mad shit to you and just treat you like
I've
shit.
seen that. I was like, I was in relationships in my 20s. I don't need that in a restaurant.
I know, dude. Fuck that. Everybody likes to go there for the punishment. That's all fucked up. But yeah, man. You told me that you had some topics, man. You want to dive into that or what?
Well, I was listening to one of the episodes that you did there with I think his guest was Matt, and you guys were kind of breaking into some interesting stuff. And being Aquarius, I don't know if that's just kind of my thing where I like to be a deep thinker or what it's not, because most of the time my birthday was like in the middle of the winter and I had nothing to do but think, it felt like, because I couldn't go outside and do shit. I don't know, but it really kind of drives me down this thought process of like, what is reality? Like, what is it? What is your definition of reality?
Shit. I think reality is just, I don't know, because I honestly feel like we are in a simulation. So I honestly can't really tell you what reality is to me, because I guess reality is just fucking, damn it, enjoying life. I don't know. I can't really explain what reality is.
Yeah. I feel like reality is a concept which best explains our observations. And a lot of that is predicated on like word associations, right? So, what is happy? Well,
Being glad.
Right. Well, I'm more of like a visual person. And when I say that, I almost go like super cartoony program. Like, it's almost like, how are we programmed to look at life, right? Because we are born in North America, United States, greatest country in the world. And that is not up for debate. And, and, if we were, born in, the Middle East, we would have completely different word associations, right? We'd have completely different perspectives of reality. Yeah,
we'd be like, man, fuck America.
Exactly. And And I don't know. I almost feel like there's like layered versions of reality because you can have one event and have multiple routes or multiple paths that come from that. Right.
Yeah, it's all about perception. I mean, if you think about it, kids grow up with like sepia tone, warm glasses, and everything's vibrant, beautiful. They're so innocent, don't get fucked over by life yet.
Right.
But as you grow up, you start getting a whole new perspective on it. And some people keep that innocence and shit, but like, nah, man, when you start realizing how the world is, it kind of ruins everything. But with that, I think happiness is also different for everybody. Like for me, it's spending time with my family, my fiance, playing video games, blah, blah, blah. For some people, it could be like being alone, not talking to anybody. You know, it's all,
Right.
it is basically like a
Perception.
you're like algorithm of yourself.
Right. Well, I think that, you know, that's a difference, right? What makes you happy, right? Versus what is happiness, right? Because how do you know what happiness is? Like when you're doing these things, what are you feeling? Is it is it just an emotional response to the stimuli around you? Like, is it just, what is it? You know what I mean? How do you know that that is what makes you happy? Yeah. And so I think that it is, completely, dependent on the observer, right? You think we can create our reality?
Yes.
How so?
I think you can create your reality by, this is what people say all the time. You can like shut off the world, tune out the news, all the bad news going around you, and just create your own reality that like, hey, I go to work, I go do this, I spend my time doing this, I do what makes me happy. Like me, card games, my Magic the Gathering, Pokemon now, and shit like that, video games, all that. I'm honed in on my reality. And if I wanted to escape reality is kind of where I dive into my hobbies is like,
yeah,
I know the world's shit,
right?
But my reality is pretty good. My life's pretty good.
Yeah.
But when I want to escape any issues I got going on, I dive into something that I could like zone out on.
Right.
And I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm just talking now.
No, I'm there. We're vibing now.
Oh, we vibing.
We vibing. And, well, I think it's really interesting because, that just kind of takes me to that point where there's like layered realities or versions of reality. So what is like ultimate reality, right? And I don't know if we can ever get there because we're fallible people, right? We can never get it right 100% of the time. Like it's just not going to happen. I don't care what CNN, I don't care what Fox tell us. Both of them are wrong at some point in time, right? And so how do we create a infallible truth? Maybe some people say truth is reality from, fallible people. I don't know. But, I look at like events where, for example, right, we're sitting across a table from each other. And if I were to write a W, right, and put it in between us, it would look like a W to me, but would it look like a W to you?
Look like an M.
It would look like a capital M, right? So who's right?
Me.
No, me. And that's how wars are started.
Exactly. So, I mean, I guess necessarily when you said, can you create your own realities? My thoughts, I started going with, people are starting to make like virtual realities, augmented realities.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking of a different type of reality, not our reality. And I think it's because it's escapism for a lot of people where they're like, hey, you can't fuck this up, like you create your own world in it. And that's what you wanted to make. That's the world that you want to see. And then other people are like, I want to live in a fantasy world. Like the people that go LARPing and shit like that.
Right.
None of them want to live in this world. They want to live in a fantasy world where they can be an elf or a dwarf or trade people with loot and shit like that. Like that's the reality people want to be in.
Yeah.
So that could be their reality, So I guess it is very different for some people.
Yeah, and I feel like I 100% agree with that. And just going back to the, W versus M, kind of example. Like if we were, if I was like 25, right, and there was an opportunity for a promotion, and I didn't get it, right, I could make it look like an M, or I could make it look like a W. right? Meaning I could make it look like, okay, this is bullshit. The system is rigged against me.
Yeah.
Or I could be like, okay, what do I got to do to get the next time? Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I'm just kind of like naturally geared that way. Like I'm just naturally like to the point where I'm like, I don't really care what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
I don't care whether they think I've got the right, stripes or the right stars or the whatever to be able to do the thing that I want to do. If I feel like I want to do it, yeah. I will study it. I will figure it out, and I will learn and fail until I have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but I think it's really interesting because that's what I mean, where we can take any event, regardless of what it is, and we can create a reality in which we win, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
I see that. It's more or less like nobody can tell you what you can't do. It's like, well, I can't do it, but I'm gonna do it until I can. Like I'm gonna keep failing until I can do it.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite. Like if I try to skateboard and I can't do it, I know I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I'll try other sports.
Is that because there's like a level of like perfectionism or a perfectionist in you? Or?
I think it's just that I don't want to get hurt. So like,
okay, that's fair.
So like I want to be able to do it and then not have to deal with the repercussions of me hurting my elbow or now my knees, like I'm too old for that shit. But I mean, if I learned it early on, that would have been cool. I would have been okay with that,
Right.
But now it's like, okay, I'm a little too old now.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say, are you gonna skateboard anywhere in your mid 30s?
No, I was thinking about
You're in your mid 30s now, right?
31 now.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
You're like 40.
You are.
I'm 100.
Oh, in his reality. But yeah, I mean, it's you. If you want to learn it, go ahead and learn it. And like, there's people that can't stop you from doing what you want to do. Like, I got people that dog on me for like, doing a podcast or like doing a beer thing, or whatever. But it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
So it's like, you ain't doing shit, but you're going to be dogging on me. So it's like, you're just a hater.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
I had people hating on me when I was trying to do videos. That was like 5 years ago. I tried starting that.
Yep.
Then I had people like kind of doubting me, like, why are you doing those? Oh, that's kind of stupid, whatever. So I'm like, oh man, why am I doing these? Then all of a sudden TikTok got blow up. Now everybody's
which is what you were
videos.
doing. Yep, exactly.
And now I'm like,
you're in front of that.
I was like, man, fuck all y'all.
I remember that. That shit was funny.
Now everybody's like, the people that were doubting me are all like on TikToks and shit now. It's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I heard a quote that I internalized very early in life, and that was that anybody who's talking shit to you is not doing better than you. That the only people who are talking shit to you are doing worse, and they don't want to see you do better. Everybody wants you to do well. Everybody wishes you well, but they don't want to see you do better than them. And once you're perceived as that, it's like, oh no, let's tear this motherfucker down.
Yep.
Let's burn this motherfucker up.
I've definitely learned that. I also think that when, what is it? Yeah, I had it and it was gone.
So you think that, do you think that at one point, like if this is a simulation and we just can't determine whether or not it's real?
I feel like there's going to be a point where they start making an augmented reality type deal where that starts to even look real. And then people start getting confused about that reality. Then eventually our civilizations will start continuing down into that. And then maybe we'll be seeing the start of kind of how we were created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like our kids will grow up to be in the Oculus or whatever, the universe or AI or the augmented reality. And then all of a sudden they don't know anything outside of it.
Yeah. Well, I think before that happens though, they have to start to normalize it, which I think is what like Chat GPT is. And, think about, we talked about the IT folks earlier, but think about teachers. Like how many of us would have done better if we had teachers who were like trying to figure out how to teach us personally, custom teaching patterns in the way that we were compared to trying to teach 30 people all at once and that material. Right. And that's not like what Chat GPT does. Like it can customize its communication style
to whoever it's
talking to. And so there's like, they're talking, of obsoleting teachers, because everybody will have a virtual reality assistant who is basically from the time you're 6 or whatever the case is. It's what it is now when you go to school.
Yeah.
For the next 12 years where they're able to teach you. But who knows, maybe they, are so efficient at it that they can teach you 12 years of, information in 5. I don't know.
And teachers don't really get paid that much anyway.
No.
So it'd be like, It's like replacing the fast food workers. You know what I mean? They make about the same.
Yeah.
If not more.
At least,
I don't
first
know
coming
how much
out.
I don't know how much they make at all. Yeah, I mean, fuck the haters, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's interesting because like, this conversation's been around for a long time. Like, as far as, is our base reality the reality, and how can we tell? How can you prove it? You can never tell it. You can never prove it, right? It's really hard. And, beforehand in, the 1600s and whatnot, it was like, is this all a dream? I used to read Word Up magazine.
People say, some people say, spiritual people, they say that Earth is like the training ground to the next step, which is like training us to get to like the fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, all that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they're on, but that'd be cool if that was the truth, because then knowing that this isn't the ending, but also there's like, it kind of trips you out because there's examples or stories of people where they're like, my grandpa died or somebody died from a long time ago, and then they were reborn inside the kid, and the kid's telling about like experiences that he used to have. And so it's like,
yeah,
are you necessarily moving on, or is it like, are you going back into like another body, or is that just your memories from the energy around you getting thrown into a specific child? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard a theory at one point in time that said, and it was Eastern thinking. I really spent some time trying to, because I grew up my entire life in the West and Western philosophy. So I spent, the last 4 or 5 years just kind of understanding and kind of broadening my mind of what like other people in the world think, just trying to understand. And one of the theories that I came across was I think it was called the golden egg theory, where we are all one soul, right? And so we are, because time and space is suspended in like actual reality, that everything that's happening all at once, all the time, that we are essentially interacting with ourselves here in this reality. And once we master this, then we get the ability to create worlds, right? And create other souls. And then they go through the same process. And like, essentially we're just like this big factions of like universe creators. And like, this is the process of it.
Like we're all kind of like god deities or whatever they call them. Like
correct.
Deity. Yeah.
Correct. But we're all shared. Like,
yeah.
Like, but because of our perception of time and, this veil of forgetfulness or amnesia, we don't even realize it, right? So we've all like died, like, well, I can't say we all, because we've died and have come back, and it's happening so quickly that we are literally just like experiencing ourselves in different levels of character and personality. And once we get to a point where we're like, okay, we're whatever, perfect or whatever the case, I don't know if that there is, but once we reach a certain set and we, do it 60,000 times or 100,000 million times, I don't know. Then at that point is when we achieve like a God status, and we can kind of do whatever we want.
I mean, I've heard people say that there are moments where they're supposed to die, and they think near-death experiences are where you jump into a different reality. I've heard of course, TikTok is teaching everybody more things than schools can nowadays. They're thinking about like deeper things that nobody talks about there. There's a thing going around where people have hit near-death experiences, and they say that once they're about to die, you actually your consciousness moves to another reality where you actually survived.
That is crazy, because I was thinking about that as I was driving in today. Like, no kidding.
Did you get hit by something? Almost near miss?
No, not on the way in. But like 2 years ago, right? COVID's going crazy, right? And, I ended up getting it like millions of other people did. And, my sense of smell is never recovered. Like long COVID or whatever it's like, my smell is like 20% of what it used to be. Like, it's insane. Like, I can't smell, like I can drive down in the spring, windows down, and I can't smell grass. Like, for real, like I can roll them down in the middle of a rainstorm or after a rain. I can't smell rain. Like, my smell is just like so sporadic. Like, I go most of my day to day now where I can't even like smell anything. And so I'm like, One point is like I'm like super paranoid because I'm like, dang, am I like, you know, I'm checking my, you know, my Old Spice to make sure it's still going right, but I can't tell. And I'm kidding, I can tell at that point.
He can't tell.
I can't tell. Do I stink?
Yeah, you do stink, right?
Oh man, I'm leaving. But but I mean, I think it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting concept. How do you know? When are you gonna know? Is this heaven?
Yeah.
No, this is Iowa.
Yeah, this is Ohio. Acid rain. But I mean, I can see that because I mean, I can't see that. I mean, I can see where they're coming from. Because people always say that our realities are intertwined with other alternate realities and all that. We've talked about this on the show with me and Sean about meeting ourselves in another reality.
Yeah.
Wild. But so it's like you die in one reality, but then your consciousness moves on to another and you won't know. But like, let's say one of our family members that passed away, but they're in another reality where they're alive.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's was it the theory of I mean, it's I want to say in the basic term it's multiple realities, but it's multiverse. The thought process.
It's called like infinite.
Yeah, but I think that's a subset of just like the multiverse theory. Essentially, where anything that can happen will happen, and that there are certain paths in certain universes that it does happen.
So it's called basically quantum suicide and immortality theory. So it's basically you have quantum immortality because when you die here, you actually move on to the next one and shit like that.
Interesting.
So, I mean, for some people, it'll give you comfort knowing that you can't die until you actually hit the actual dead age. Whereas, like, well, in on all realities, I'm dead now. Because of how
but does that ever come? I mean, think about it. I mean, how many realities can the advancement of medicine? When I was, you know, young teenager, I mean, the average lifespan was like 60 years old. Now it's like 80. I mean,
ain't no way.
You don't think so? You don't think we ever get to the point where we're just like?
Well, yeah, I think we could. I think maybe it'll end up like Futurama, where we got heads in the jars. You know, that just survive. You ever seen that?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, where they have the heads in the jars. But
I mean, could be.
It could give some people. Yeah, I guess it could give lots of people comfort knowing that your family members or whoever's passed is actually in another universe. I mean, and if that makes you a little happier to like instead of being like heaven or just dead, or you can be like, nah, man, they're in another universe, happier than ever, and I'm still with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's times that I think that, you know, the whole thought process of like heaven and hell is just like this. You know, word association, right? So going, you know, kind of back to that thought process of, you know, this is what I believe heaven is. This is what I believe hell is. And I feel like it's so kind of programmed into the Western world of what that is. And, you know, you could always have the debate of whether or not it's like control, right? Hey, I want to make sure that you're controlled. And so I'm going to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe that's the case or maybe it's not, but I feel like a lot of it is, you know, just in the thought process in the mind, right? So, in the sense of, you know, a lot of people go into like survival mode, like it's like fight or flight, right? And I feel like that is almost the human psychology of what hell is. It's just like fight or flight. Like you're just kind of in the suspense of survival, like am I or am I not? And then like heaven is just like, you know, to the point where you're sustainable, and whether you've developed skills, whether you've developed, you know, internal happiness and acceptance, or whether you've just, you know, won the lottery, whatever the case may be, but you're at a point where you're like able to sustain. So I almost feel like, you know, heaven and hell are just like phases of life and phases of perspective in that sense, not necessarily destinations.
Yeah,
right?
They're not actually like planes of existence or whatever.
Right. I mean, it may be like,
right, you know,
mentally, perspective.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, whether your energy goes wherever, I've said this before. So if you've listened to this show, everybody knows that I would say that we are energy. If I die, I'm just getting placed right back into the universe, like this energy all around us.
Correct.
So,
well, energy can't die.
That's
and
right.
We are energy. Yeah.
Quantum immortality.
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. I'm
How many times have we had this convecation? How many lifetimes?
I'd like die right now, but then I go to the other one. I'm still alive with you. So in another reality, this episode doesn't air, but another one it does.
Exactly, and it's an all-time hit.
Damn, because I died.
Why not?
Why not? So how'd you like the drink, man? I mean, it's pretty good, right? Or not?
Yeah, it was Yeah, so I thought it was really good. The Thick Mint Nitro Blackwater series over here by Southern Tier Brewing Company. Malt, man, is that a fantastic
I wish I
description
would
for
have.
that?
Yeah, I wish I would have like put this or like freeze it, put it into like a milky like substance, and just fucking enjoy it. This is really good.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Way to go, Southern Tier. Thank you. All right, so this is Free Logic X GID Type Beat Skywalker, free instrumental by Premise on the whatever, it doesn't say it, on YouTube. Hey, 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 I'm in an alternate reality. Hey, I'm in AI staring at you. Hey, from your computer, man. Call me big brother, man, cause I'm watching you, stalking you, doing anything to get on top of you. Hey, hey, hey. Looking at you through the webcam, I see that dick in your hand, see that pussy playing, and I'm loving it. Hey, hey, hey. I don't exist, I'm just a fucking robot. Digital AI, can't stop.
Hot 97. New York City.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Stay sexy.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, boy. I didn't stop it.